Well, I'm here now to talk about The Disaster Artist. That was the spotlight on the making of that terrible film titled The Room, the So Bad It's Good film. I love the beginning of this movie where we see actors like Kristen Bell and Adam Scott talk about The Room because they're a surprise. I don't think many bad films would get this much attention and is still talked about to this day like that movie is. They're right. Well, I forgot to say this in my review to The Room. I gotta give thanks to the Nostalgia Critic. Because when I saw his review, I thought it was good and very funny review, but I didn't even know The Room. I didn't even know The Room even existed. If not for that review, I wouldn't even know a thing about this movie. And maybe that review inspired Greg Sestero to write the novel The Disaster Artist, which chronicles the making of The Room, and that's what this movie is based on. Now, I'm sure they improvised a little. I expect that in a lot of movies based on true stories. What do I think of the film? I'll get to that in a moment. You know what the film basically is. It's a story of Greg Sestero, played by Dave Franco, who strikes up a friendship with Tommy Wiseau, played by his older brother James Franco. They both moved to LA and hope to make it big in the acting biz. With very little luck, Tommy decides to write his own movie that was based on Tennessee Williams' plays, titled The Room. And well, you know the title. It's titled The Disaster Artist, so I guess you know what comes next. I gotta say, James Franco's performance is spot on. Now, I'm sure playing a role like Tommy Wiseau can't be easy. You're like, how do I play this role without coming off like I'm trying to be a parody of the man? Because, you know, he's been parodied a lot, especially the "Oh, hi, Mark" line, you know. But I gotta say, James Franco definitely embodied Tommy Wiseau very well. From what I heard, he stayed in character when the camera's rolling. When the camera stopped rolling, he was still in character. It's like when Jim Carrey played Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon. They figure in order for his performance to work, he had to stay in character. Dave Franco is pretty good as Greg Sestero. You know, those two have such good chemistry, but they act their parts so well, you kind of forget that they're brothers. That's how good their acting was. And I gotta say one more thing about James Franco's performance as Tommy Wiseau. You forget you're seeing James Franco. You see Tommy Wiseau. You just forget he's James Franco. And that's how good of his performance was. The other actors do okay. I mean, Seth Rogen is alright and all that stuff, and Josh Hutcherson and Zac Efron. The amount of times they're on film, they're good. Alison Brie, who is of course Dave Franco's real life wife, is good as playing his girlfriend. Not much of an acting challenge, was it? I really enjoy the scene where it was one of my few favorite scenes is when where Tommy shows Greg the script to The Room, and when he reads it, you kind of see the expression on his face, like, this is terrible. This is not this is awful. But he looks up and says, "Oh, this is good." It's like he didn't have the heart to tell him that this was going to be terrible. He just didn't have the heart to tell him. And we see tensions on the set while making The Room. You know, we don't even know what Tommy was up to. It's like, was he just playing mind games with his cast and crew? Because times he comes across as kind of a jerk, like you just want to punch in the face, and like it's hard to make the movie because was there a method to his madness, or was it just madness? And a little spoiler warning, just a little bit of a spoiler. This scene when they finally at the premiere of his film The Room, and when the audience starts laughing, Tommy walks out in despair, and Greg follows him, saying, "Look at your audience, man." I know this wasn't the reactions you wanted, but look at them. They're entertained. Even though Tommy was disappointed, Greg shows he's a good friend by saying to him, look, people are laughing, people are having a good time. Milk it for all it's worth. And that's what Tommy does. He milks it for all it's worth. And to this day, The Room is still shown as in midnight screenings. It's still an enjoyably bad film, and it's amazing Tommy and Greg are still friends because Tommy's angst really gets on Greg's nerves, as you see in this movie. But this is a good film. I reckon if you're not a fan of the movie The Room, you should not see this movie if you don't have any idea what this film's about. I say the performances were good, and I give The Disaster Artist a 10 out of 10. Bye.